Sisterhood of Hip Hop, season 1, episode 5, I believe. Miami Vices. Okay, everybody finna go down. Okay. Everybody finna go down, cause bitch, sometimes once like I said, they're about to go down to Miami, to do Diamond's little party. And she say the party that my label was throwing me for signing me, and you all are invited. And she said that like 15 times throughout this episode. I was like, girl, we get the point. The label is throwing you a party for signing you, okay? That's fine. That's fine. But surprisingly, Diamond didn't annoy me this episode. Who annoyed me was Naima Supreme. And I'm going to tell you one reason why she annoyed me. I will get to that. Because there are certain things that you don't do. If you want people to come out there to support you, you got to put forth that effort to support them too. It ain't no tip. You give to receive. You receive to give. 50-50, okay? You come on now. Come on now. But they get down to Miami. And they all... Look, it just threw me off. I'm sitting here like, y'all so ratchet as fuck. First of all, not really ratchet, but they up in the, well, yeah, ratchet. They up in the limo, not the limo, the Hummer. First of all, let me go back a little bit. I'm all over the place. I'm scatterbrained right quick. Okay, here we go. Diamond, she started off the episode at 103.5, I think is the beat, down in Miami with K Fox. Okay, so K Fox got fired from 97.5, Hot 97, I think. And now she's on here. I was like, all right, that's fine. When she talking about her label and, her re-signing and all this stuff and what's going on with her, yada, yada, yada. And so, next thing you know, the girls, Diamond and Beia and Brianna, they in a Hummer with no doors, no seatbelts, just going through Miami. Woo! We in Miami, bitch. I said, sit your ignorant ass down. I want somebody to take a sharp turn and all of y'all asses to fly out, because I'm looking like, where the seatbelts at? Where the seatbelts at? Where the cops at? Where the cops at? Let a regular nigga did that shit. We would have got pulled the fuck over. Alright? Got ticketed and all that shit. But they roll up and they see Naima sitting there eating some pizza or whatever. And they like, what's she doing? Because I thought she was down here doing a video shoot. Everybody's down in Miami, might I add. And they sit down and they chill with her. And it was like, I thought you was doing a shoot. He was like, oh, you can come. She did invite them to the shoot. She did invite them to come down to the shoot. She said, yeah, she was doing it earlier. She was taking a break, like a little lunch break or whatever. And they sitting there and they was having a little conversation, talking to one another. And Beia was telling, everybody was saying what they was doing. And, this is Brianna's hometown. Diamond is talking about the party that everybody's invited to. They all doing their own music and, still trying to get themselves out there. And Beia, she has a show that's going on later on. And she wants everybody to come. She was like, it'd be cool if everybody can show up. And everybody said that they was going to come and they was vibing and it was all good and dandy. The only person that wasn't there was Sia. Sia, did I call her Sia? Sia, she back at the hotel or wherever they staying at with her girl. And she trying to tell her what's up. Like, we down here. So, look, while we down here, I'm going to be in Naima's video shoot. And then I'm going to be a show. It's going to be a whole lot of people. And then that, Diamond's party, it's gonna be a whole lot of executives and people and all this stuff that you gotta touch shoulders when you up in this rap game. You gotta make connections and all this stuff. Renee, oh, so you come down here to work. I thought we was down here just to have some me time, some us time. I just can't, like, girl, I'm sitting here like, Renee, you are living with a struggling artist. Every opportunity to go somewhere and to be with somebody or in touch with somebody in the industry is always going to be business. And bitch, you got to make the most of it, okay? You see an opportunity, snatch that shit. And if you want to have fun, bitch, take your ass to the party too and kick it and dance and drink, okay? Bitch, take your ass to the motherfucking photo shoot, to the video shoot. You could have been twerking up in the video and got you paid. Bitch, you a hairstylist. You could have went down to Naima Supreme's motherfucking video shoot and did her motherfucking edges because them bitches been looking crunchy. I did not want to say that, but bitch, I'm tired. Naima, you cute now, but look, girl, if you going to be rocking that blonde shit, get them edges touched up, okay? They there, but they just whack, all right? Get that shit touched the fuck up. See, mine's is laid down, okay? Yours was just crunch. Yours literally looked like crunch, crunch, you know. And I can tell that was your real hair right there because it wasn't laying down. I had those problems when I used to put my shit in ponytail. Like, goddamn, bitch, lay the fuck down. Put some water on it or go get you some live, get you some grease or some shit. Slap it on there. Don't get no gel because you don't want that shit to flake up. Or go get you some edge control stuff, all right? You know what I'm saying? That shit was just irking the fuck out of me. And I'm like, girl, you found a reason to fucking... You could have been getting you work. Everything is a fucking opportunity. You could have been getting you work. You could have been rubbing shoulders with people too, along with your girl, making connections. And then y'all still could have been kicking it with each other. You don't know how to make the best of an opportunity. You just look at the negative. Oh, I thought we were supposed to be down here just for us and all this shit. And I'm like, stop it. Take your ass home. So, you know, Sia, she goes down to Naima's video shoot, and Naima's feeling some type of way because Sia's the only one that came. Mind you, she did invite all the other girls to come, but she's the only one that came. And, you know, it is what it is. There's this other scene with the girls. They get together, and I guess trying to see what they gonna do. Brianna, Diamond, and Beia, they get together talking about what's gonna happen later, the party, and why they talking about stuff. Next thing you know, Diamond gets this phone call. She ignores the phone call. They was like, girl, who is it? Wait a minute, who is that girl? SB. I was like, see, this, see, you finna do this all over again? Fuck that nigga and get back on your ground with your music. Quit. Don't let this show focus on you and your relationship with that boy, you know. And they were just trying to tell her, let that shit go. You know, he out here in Florida and, you know, he might be coming to the party. They like, damn, y'all got this history. What you inviting him to the party and shit for? But after that little scene, we get another little bitch ass scene from Renee. Sia and Renee. Not saying that Sia is a bitch, but Renee, you acting like a bitch. You need to kind of fuck down. You're doing a little bit too much. She once again getting in her jealous mode because she found out where Sia was, you know, at the video shoot with Naima. And she talking about something like, you was doing what you was doing, so I had to go hang out with my friends because I was by myself and all this stuff. Once again, a big argument ensues over nothing. Over nothing. And the only one that was making sense was Sia. I didn't even see what Renee's reasoning for this time was, what it was. Point blank period, the girls, they go out to Beia's recording session because Pharrell rented her the studio, took out some studio time for her, and let her do some practice or whatever before she had her little show. And Diamond and Brianna was there. And they was at the studio with her. And okay, you know, whatever she was doing, I say Beia is okay. Beia is okay. I have to hear more. I have to hear more to make a final judgment on her, you know, because baby girl, I'm pretty sure you was listening to a track, or you know, you probably was really doing your thing, but you know, when they put it on TV, they actually play a track back to it, and it just sounds so weird. You know, it's not that, you know what I'm saying. Y'all get what I'm getting at. But before that, Diamond, she meets up with her manager, Brian, and, you know, they discussing what's going to happen and is she really ready? You know, you have to be focused, and this time do not, who you dating? You not fucking with Soulja Boy no more? You not fucking with this person no more? Good. We don't need no distractions. We need you to be on the ball. We need you to be ready. We don't need none of that bullshit, okay? We just need, Diamond, you trying to get this new image? Let's just stay on this track that we on now. She said, cool, we ain't fucking with Soulja Boy like that no more. So now they up in the studio, and, you know, Naima doesn't show up, but Sia shows up. Sia showed up, bitch, and when I tell you this is the most emotional ass stud that I've seen in a minute. Because I say an emotional ass stud because, you know, most studs that I see, some of them, they just be hardcore with it. They don't like to show their feelings and nothing like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, still female and you still got these issues. And she just broke down because, you know, Renee took her ass home. And I was like, good, take your ass home, bitch. You know, you doing too much. You distracting her. And you gonna come out here on a free fucking trip that I'm pretty sure that you didn't pay for. And you gonna sit here and fucking complain. Bitch, you better make the most of this shit. Take your ass home because you bringing me down. All right? And she just broke down crying. They was like, you need to get away from that. Get into what's going to make you happy and what's going to bring positivity on what you doing at this moment. Something that's going to be there to support you. And she just feeling like, you know, the situation with Kel that happened last week, he not there no more. Tank dicking her around. And it just, and Renee doing what she doing. She just feel like ain't nobody in her corner at this moment. And she need that support system. And I'm glad that they were there. The girls was there at that moment to actually kick it with her and to give her that, you know, assistance and give her that shoulder to cry on. Because as soon as she started crying, Diamond reached over. I will give Diamond her prop. She reached over and was rubbing that girl back. I was like, you better stop. Let me tell you something. Any given moment, I think Sia she can run through all of them. I'm just saying. But after that, they get ready to go to Beia's little showcase thing. She throws it. She gets up there, do her little rap, whatever the fuck. But first of all, let me go back. Because when they was doing that video shoot and when they was sitting down there eating before Naima went on a shoot, this was at the beginning of the episode, when Diamond said, you didn't bring them dusty ass dancers. And I was like, Diamond. I know she, and see, that's the difference between, you know, trying to take shit seriously and trying to throw shade for real. I knew at that moment, see, because some of y'all can't differentiate between tone and between shade and when she's trying to be funny or not. On the mother side, she was being shady on the other episode when she said that shit. Naima was not being shady. Listen to the tone because even they played it back and she was really asking an inquisitive question. She wanted to know. You know, if you say, oh, I've made an impact on so-and-so, if somebody's going to ask or interview or whoever, they're going to be like, so what? How do you feel that you made an impact? You're supposed to be able to say that. Say your answer. That's where she was coming from. But then she took it into a shady way. But when Diamond was like, don't, I know you wouldn't bring them dusty ass dancers. I took it as she was trying to be funny and she wasn't trying to be shady. So, you know, points for you, Diamond, because I'm not finna cut your ass up just yet. You know, and I was just like, okay, I get you. Y'all trying to come together because even Naima didn't take it that way either. She took it as, okay, no, I didn't bring the girl. I brought some new girls and all that stuff, so we all good. Fine, they had no issue. See, there was a difference, okay? Get on the train. Come on, ride the train and ride it. Ride it. Come on, I'm finna go look at Space Jam after this. Look, y'all just don't understand. But anyway, they at Beia's you know, performance. She did what she had to do. The crowd looked like they was rocking to it. Sia's like, everybody's there except for Naima. And this is, she wonder why sometimes people don't want to fuck with her because of the shit like this, you know. We support you, but then you can't show up at our shit. That's kind of fucked up. And I felt that was fucked up too. And I'm finna tell you why. She goes to a studio session with Timberland. And they had this discussion about, you know, females needing to be there for each other because this is a male-dominated field this time. At first, they did have a lot of female rappers out. Now they don't. And, you know, we need to have that camaraderie and all this stuff. But you talking all this stuff, talking about something, well, I know I was supposed to be at Beia's thing, but, you know, I got called up for a last-minute studio session, so I'd rather go to the studio session than the show. But you could have called. And it didn't show or say that you called and let them know that you wasn't coming or that something came up. Because I'm pretty sure if you would have let her know and let everybody else know, they wouldn't have had an issue. I would have been pissed off if you know, just played me left like that. But I went to your shit. You know? No, don't do me. So what is this tit for tat because they didn't come to your video shoot, so you're not gonna come to it? That's what I felt like. I was like, if that's the case, bitch, you're being a little bit petty. But that was wrong. That was wrong. You should have called. So, after that, they have a little meet up. where it's getting drinks and stuff, and people, you know, they want to, this is everybody. They took this time to just tell Naima about herself, like, girl, why didn't you show up? And you giving off this attitude like you just don't want to be here, you know, the way that your face is looking and all that stuff. And I've said this already, you know, some people just got a face that's like, you know, bitch, I'm cool, you know, but I just don't show my excitement on my outside. She was doing that. That's why I take it as. But she was closed off, okay? And she, like I said, she should have told them what was going on. And I'm like, you trying to get to know these people and you want these people to be cool with you, but yet you got to break that wall just a little bit. You ain't got to give them everything. You ain't got to tell them your life story, but you can tell them something just a little bit to make it seem as if you're approachable, that you're good enough to be around and you're not being a bitch to them. Because I know me as a Capricorn or whatever the fuck, I just got this attitude. Like, people, it's not really an attitude. I just don't show my emotions and stuff like that. And, you know, some people do come up to me like, girl, why are you looking so mean? I'm like, what you talking about? The same thing Naima said, like, what face are you talking about I'm giving you? I be like, what are you talking about? I'm just looking. Like, ain't nothing wrong. But you just got to be aware. Sometimes you may not feel like you're doing something wrong, but the way that your face is and your expressions and all that stuff, it gives us another vibe. And to people that don't know you, they going to take it a different way. So you have to be aware of that. You know, how they supposed to know that this is how you are because they don't know you. So somehow they get her to break down a little bit and be like, you know, talking about how she did have friends when she was in high school, but it just shit that's been on in her life with family and other things that, you know, kind of put her off of, you know, letting other females in and letting other people in and, you know, things of that matter. And, you know, they actually kind of vibed a little bit. Even Diamond was giving little advice and stuff. And I was like, see, this is the Diamond that I like, okay, that I can vibe with, you know. And that was a good little scene because ain't nobody blow up at nobody. They figured it out and they, you know, resolved it and let it go. Then we get to Diamond little party. Child, okay. She was like, she gave her little speech, and then when she go back and sit down with with Brianna and Naima and the other girls, Sia, she was like, and Beia, she was like, did y'all peep that Beia had that Aaliyah shirt on? I said, and every time I seen the, you know, first of all, they had Aaliyah face blurred out. I was like, look at generic Aaliyah, Walmart Aaliyah, when Aaliyah, the authentic, you know. I crack myself up sometimes because that's all I was thinking about because y'all just kept on saying that shit last week. But anyway, Diamond was sitting down there and she was talking to the girls and she was like, once again, I want to thank y'all for coming to the party that the label threw for me. Girl, we know. Say it again. You know why you here with the party that the label threw for me? Say it again. So while we chilling at this party that the label threw for me, I was like, girl, shut up, okay? Stop it. But, you know, she was, you know, thanking him and all that stuff. And they all talking, they dancing, they drinking. Next thing you know, Soldier Boy shows up. And once again, she goes all to the side with him. And Naima and Saya like, oh, this don't look good. And Saya was like, but you know, I'm just getting to know her, and I don't know Soldier Boy like that, and I don't know that situation like that, so it ain't my place to say nothing. So, you know, they gonna do what they do, but the manager was sitting there looking like, bitch, please, because they was all up on each other. He was like, you looking good as fuck, and I'm like, oh, shit, that's all you need from a bitch, from a nigga to you looking good as shit. Thank you. That was Diamond. That was... You know she gave him son that night. You know she gave him son. Brian got up and was like, we finna cut this shit. And the cameras went off. But that was basically the episode. Mind you, her mama and her sisters and them was there. They looking like, girl, please. We ain't got time for this. But that was basically the episode. It was cute. Y'all tell me how you feel. I'm about to look at the new Tyler Perry's If Loving You Is Wrong and see how I feel about that. I may or may not be reviewing it. I mean, it's a lot to do on one night. It's 3 shows I do on one night. Well, actually 2 because now Bad Girls Club is going on. All right, well, I'll see. And y'all tell me how y'all feel and I'll see y'all later. Peace.